Testing. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, councillors and members of the public. I will officially open this evening's ordinary council meeting at 7 p.m. Thank you for your attendance tonight. I'd like to remind everyone in the chambers to ensure that comments are respectful to the council and all meeting attendees, including city officers and those in our public gallery. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay our respect to elders past, present, and emerging. There are no announcements from the presiding member. Attendance. Mayor Piferetti is an apology for tonight. Councillor McDonald is on leave of absence. All other councillors are present in the chamber this evening. Applications for leave of absence. Councillors, are there any applications? I would like to apply for leave for 22nd December 2025 until 17th January 2026 inclusive. Any other requests, councillors? Can I please have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Leder and Councillor Sutherland is seconding. I will put it to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you. Disclosures of interest. Firstly, I note that the Director of Infrastructure and Assets has declared an interest with regards to item 10.3.3. Would you like to declare it, Director?
Yes, thank you. I have a proximity interest. I own property on Falkirk Avenue in Maylands. There is a treatment under that item in relation to the low-cost urban road safety program that's proposed for Falkirk Avenue.
Thank you. Any other disclosures? Councillor Leder.
Thank you. On 10.3.3 local road safety program, I have an impartial interest due to having an interest in property in the area but not in proximity to any proposed treatment. I will stay in the room for that item. For 10.4.1, proposed change of use to short-term rental accommodation on Caledonian Ave, Maylands, I have a proximity interest due to having an interest in a property across the road from the subject property, and I will leave the room for that item.
Thank you. Councillor Ostasowski.
Thank you. Mine is for item 10.1.3, the proposed naming of the right-of-way bordered by Foyle Road, Cat Court, Drake Street and Candleberry Road in Bayswater. I've met one of the deputies, or the deputy from last week, Mrs. Koutamakis, at her property adjoining the laneway a few years ago about naming of the lane. Impartial, and I'll be staying in the room.
Thank you. Councillor Sutherland.
I'd like to draw attention to 10.1.3, proposed naming of road bordered by Foyle Road, Cat Court, Drake Street and Canterbury. It's a proximity interest on two of those streets, and I'll be leaving the room.
Thank you. Councillor Black.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I have two disclosures of interest for tonight's meeting. Item 10.3.3, Local Road Safety Program, Maylands Peninsula Precinct. On page 2 of the agenda item, there's a map of the city where LCIRS packages are being implemented in stages. My residence is captured in the map. However, it's not the subject of this evening's officer's recommendation within the item, so I declare that as an impartial interest, and I'll be staying in the room. The second disclosure is for agenda item 10.4.1, proposed change of use to short-term rental accommodation. My employer has a financial relationship with a client which may have an association with the applicant. After discussing this with the city's governance team, I'm satisfied that this is an impartial interest, and I will be staying in the room.
Thank you. Councillor Peterway.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I have to declare item number 10.1.3, proposed naming of right-of-way bordered by Foyle Road, Cat Court, Drake Street and Canterbury Road, Bayswater. I declare an impartiality due to investment property on Foyle Road, but not in close proximity to the actual item.
And you will stay in the room. Thank you.
And I'll stay in the room.
Any other disclosures, councillors? I have a disclosure on item 10.3.3, the Maylands Peninsula Precinct. I own property in the Maylands Peninsula Precinct, but no proposed road treatments are adjacent to my property. So it's impartial and I will stay in the room. Any other disclosures, councillors? No. So we will move to public question time. Councillors, the city has received questions in writing from 5 members of the public this evening. The questions and responses are listed in your run sheet, and I will take those as read. The questions and responses are also available on the city's website and will be provided in the minutes for this meeting. We will now move to in-person questions. Members of the gallery, I'll first call for questions on items on this evening's agenda, and then I will open to questions on items not on the agenda. Please provide your name and suburb before you ask your question, and keep in mind that you are limited to 3 questions. So we'll start. Are there any questions on items on this evening's agenda? Yes, please come forward to the mic. Would you, yes, please.
My name is Peter Almore. I live in Noranda. I'm here because you guys are going to consider the footpath in Baloo Way. So I've just got a question to the councillors as to whether environmental considerations are taken into account when you propose to concrete swathes of the suburbs. We appear to be replacing green, soft surfaces, heat absorbing, with hard heat sinks, which are just going to contribute to the growing pool of heat in the suburbs. It's a recognised problem in the suburbs. So that's one question. The other question is, do you consider the greenhouse gas emissions required to build things like concrete structures? For instance, the approximate 300 metres of Baloo Way footpath will release something like 25 tonnes of greenhouse carbon dioxide equivalent greenhouse gases. So do you guys consider environmental issues when it comes to concrete footpaths? Thank you.
Thank you. So look, I will take your questions as noted. Councillors will discuss and debate this item tonight. Are there any questions on the agenda? Yes, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. My name's Georgia Johnson, Bayswater. So I have a question on 11.2, please, or it's related to 11.2 on the agenda, please.
Yes.
So with relation to the, in relation to the meeting of the Walga Zone on the 21st of August, I noticed looking back at the unconfirmed minutes for that meeting that there were some changes to the voting that was made after the meeting, and I'm just wondering if the city can provide, or if you can provide any information about that and what the implications of that are for the vote.
So can you say it again? There was a change?
Some changes to the voting are noted in the unconfirmed minutes from that meeting.
Okay, I will check with the city. Do we have the minutes here?
No, but I'm happy to.
Yes, please. CEO.
Yeah, through the chair, my understanding from the meeting is that there was a discrepancy with the voting in terms of one of the members that was voting on the evening didn't have voting rights from their council. So I believe the item will be coming back, or they'll be confirming that.
As in the minutes, or the City of Bayswater item?
Well, the minutes are unconfirmed, so they would need to decide on that. But they're unconfirmed at the moment, so I can take that on notice through the chair to find out what Walga will be doing at their next meeting, which will be held in November.
Thank you very much. Also have a question, please, on item 10.3.2, the proposed traffic lights.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So my question is really relating to what work, that's a bit of a messy intersection, and I think it's well known there's a lot of accidents there. Just wondering what work the city will do for pedestrian and cyclist access in that area. It's pretty clunky at the moment.
Thank you for the question. I will go to the director. Director, if you can please put the mic close.
Yep.
Thank you.
Through the chair, can I just clarify, are we talking about just the intersection or are we talking about the broader area?
Well, perhaps the work that will be done as part of the proposed signalisation.
So the signalisation will have provision for pedestrian crossing of Garrett Road and across Stone and Frinton. So that will be included as part of the project. You always accommodate pedestrians in those types of projects. So that will be accommodated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions relating to the agenda? No, thank you. Are there any questions not relating to the agenda tonight? No, thank you. So I will close public question time and we will move to part 7, confirmation of minutes. We will now move to confirm the minutes for the ordinary council meeting of 26 August 2025. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Leder is moving. Councillor Peterway is seconding. If there are any other comments, I will put it to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you. Presentations. So, petitions. Do any councillors have a petition to table? Councillor Sosowski.
Thank you. I have a petition to table in regards to item 10.13, the proposed naming of the right-of-way bordered by Foyle Road, Cat Court, Drake Street and Canterbury Road in Bayswater. What other information do you require me to provide?
Can you
at the
read the
moment?
petition?
Sure. The purpose of the petition is presented to the Council of the City of Bayswater in support of naming the right-of-way bordered by Foyle Road, Cat Court, Drake Street and Canterbury Road in Bayswater as Evros Lane as a first preference or Kippy Lane as a second preference. I do have another 2 paragraphs to read. Is that okay? Thank you.
Please.
The City has already undertaken consultation for the naming of this right-of-way, during which Hoppy Lane was identified as the preferred option. However, since that time, local resident Mrs. Angela Koutamakis, whose home directly adjoins the laneway, has put forward an alternate proposal that more appropriately reflects the heritage, culture and community contribution connected to this location. The late Mr. Evros Koutamakis, Evangelos Kippy Koutamakis, originated from Evros in Greece, was a long-standing Bayswater resident and former president of the Hellenic Club of Western Australia. Together with his family, he contributed to the cultural life of the area for decades. The proposed name Evros Lane and Kippy Lane symbolise this connection and recognise the enduring influence of migrant families in shaping the Bayswater community. This will be submitted to Council for consideration at its meeting on 28 October 25 and once submitted will form part of the public record. This petition was prepared on behalf of Mrs. Koutamakis by myself and Councillor Loiacono. We received on this petition 26 signatures.
Thank you very much, Councillor. If you can just give us a copy so we can officially table it. Thank you. Are there any other petitions, councillors? Can I please have a mover and seconder to table the petition? You would like to move that, Councillor Sosowski, and Councillor Loiacono will second it. Thank you. So I'll put to the vote. All those in favour? It is unanimous. Thank you. There are no presentations this evening and deputations. We did receive a request tonight to have a deputation with regards to item 10.3.1, the Buluway footpath provision, and I did approve that deputation. Who would like to present the deputation? I'm assuming it's on behalf of all the residents? Correct, yeah. Thank you. You do have 5 minutes, and afterwards, councillors may ask you some questions.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. My name's Jodie Waite. I've lived in the city of Bayswater for over 50 years, Marriott Way, Simmons Way, and now in Bellew Way. I have 3 adult children. I also, for the last 20 years, have cared for other people's children, probably in excess of 50 children, and that's all been since I've been in Bellew Way. To this date, I still have a large number of children. I think one of the councillors was following a number of them down the street in his vehicle just the other day. with me standing out the front waving at them. So yeah, duly noted. Thank you. So yeah, and I just want to say that on behalf of the residents, in the 24 years that I've lived in Baloo Way and looked after and continue to look after in excess of 50 children, there has never been an incident in our street. We have a really quiet street. We have a footpath that you guys put in in Stewart Way, which really does serve its purpose. We really feel that duplicating in Baloo Way is completely unnecessary for all the reasons that Peter also raised. If people need to access Benara Road, they can go down Stewart Way. They can access the bus stops from Stewart Way. They can certainly access the shops from Stewart Way. There's a medium strip at the end of Stewart Way that will also support people in crossing the road safely. Some of the other points were that there is the existing pathway there. I mean, if we consider Strut Way, not that I'm advocating for any more pathways, please, but Strut Way is a direct route to bus 352. There's no access down Strut Way from the park either. But again, I'm not certainly advocating for more footpaths by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's also a safety issue for our children. I think I said this in 2017 and I'm going to say it again today. If I have a footpath out the front of my house, I don't know for people who've been down Baloo Way, a lot of my children my heart children that come to stay with me, they don't leave. So I actually have a very large number of children still at home that I've raised up for many, many years. So we have a really large number of cars out the front of our house, as you may have noticed. So sometimes we've got 6, 7 cars. I have 10 children that still live at home. I have myself, I have my partner, we have a bus, we have a work vehicle. All those cars will be parked on the road. We have a number of young children that live in the street, so it becomes a safety issue. The gentleman here has small children as well. Children darting out from behind cars is, I think, way more unsafe than actually having a footpath. Despite my 3 or 4 children scootering down the middle of the road the other day, it is a really safe street. People drive slowly. I work from home, I look out the window. There's actually not even that many people that walk down the street, to be honest. In fact, the people in this room are probably the only people that walk down the street. And we're all here advocating to say that it's really unnecessary. So I think we all just implore you to make the decision that it's really unnecessary. For $78,000, we can actually collectively come up with some really grand ideas about what you could spend that money on. So that's really all I've got to say. Has anyone got any questions?
Yes, Councillor Peter Way.
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to pull up the notes. I did miss your name. I deeply apologise.
Jody.
Jody, that's right. And sorry for not stopping the other day. I did notice the council signs where it said don't park on Verge.
Because I came out and I thought, why is that strange man driving down the street like that?
That's what most people say.
I'd never seen that car in the street before because I do work from home, so I'm pretty observant.
Yeah.
You may have noticed.
You are extremely observant.
Yeah, we sit out the front a lot, so I actually came down outside my gate because I could see you in your car, and I thought, what is that man doing? Why is he driving so slowly behind my children? So I was out on the street shouting at them to say, look out for the man in the red car.
Oh, there you go. I was doing my research as a good councillor should, I guess. So,
and you got caught.
Yeah, so I apologise for not stopping and talking to you. It was just really a drive-by to sort of see, because I live in Ashted Street, so I wasn't so familiar with Baloo Way.
Yeah.
But now I am, so yeah, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Councillor Peter Way?
I do not. I do apologise. One question I do have to ask is just, was there any other proposals you had around, the safety because obviously I did observe there were your children,
They were my
fact,
children, yeah.
on the road. So is there any other ways that you sort of think,
Perhaps me educating them on not scootering on the middle of the road would be the first point. But I can assure you, even with a footpath, you will still see those same children in the middle of the road.
I noticed as well, correct me if I'm wrong, at the end of the footpath coming off Strut Reserve, there's no sort of barricades to stop. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, so as people come off down, they would come straight out onto the road. But again, in the 24...
So there could be improvements made there, perhaps?
Well, no, I think in the 24 years I've lived there, there's never been an issue. People don't come flying. Okay. I mean, it's actually not even a very well-used thoroughfare, to be honest. Like, again, I've lived there a long time, and I've never even had an issue with anyone walking down the alleyway, which I think, touch wood, is quite an unusual situation, because many people who live next door to alleyways often complain about, the noise and stuff. But it's actually it's actually so quiet.
Yep.
Yeah, it is actually really quiet. And like I said, 50 children I've looked after, plus, and they've been up and down that street for the last 20 years. And there's, touch wood again, never, ever been an incident. And we will all notice when there's a strange car in the street and come out to see actually what is going on. Because I did mention to these guys it was quite unfortunate. I said, oh my God, you're not going to believe it. The one day my kids are down the middle of the street, there's this councillor following them in his car. What's the chances? Yeah, so we just implore you to please, to listen to us. It is the street that we've all collectively lived on for hundreds of years, to be honest, and that you do not put a footpath.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Black. Sorry, Ms. Waite.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Thank you,
have another
Deputy Mayor,
question?
and thank you, Jody, for that deputation, and I appreciate the residents of your street as well coming out for this council meeting this evening. Just have just a few quick questions for you. Just in regards to, you mentioned about children not using the footpath and using the street and feel safe and that. I guess just to flip it on the other end there, older residents or those with mobility issues, are there any residents that you're aware of that along that street that may benefit from a footpath as opposed to the current situation? And I guess that's just from your perspective there.
No, there's nobody with a mobility issue, and even if there was a person with a disability living in the street, I would still propose that the street is actually safe enough to use. There was, for many, many years, a lady who used to come down on her motorised three-wheeler scooter with her two dogs, and she came down for many, many years, and then she came down with one dog, and now she comes down with no dogs. And she's never, ever, ever, we speak to her, there's never been any concerns with her being out on the street.
Yeah. And just another follow-up question, sorry. You mentioned there's a number of residents in the gallery here tonight with you. Can you just let me know how many there are with you tonight?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions to the deputy councillors? No, thank you very much for coming tonight. We will discuss the item, we will pull it, so we will discuss it a bit earlier. Okay, thank you, councillors. So we will now move to the method of dealing with agenda business. As indicated to me by the mayor before the meeting, we are going to change the direction this term, starting with the right-hand side of the council chamber, with Councillor Black pulling first this evening, and then it will continue in an anti-clockwise direction in future meetings. Before I go to Councillor Black, I am going to pull out items 10.1.1 and 10.1.2 with regards to the nominations for committees, and I'll also pull 10.3.3 with regards to the Maylands Peninsula Precinct as it relates to the petition that I tabled at the last meeting. Councillor Black, which items would you like to pull?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, with a pleasant surprise of changing up the order there. I would like to pull 10.1.3, the proposed naming of right-of-way bordered by Foral Road.
Just 1 second, we'll write it down. Yeah.
And item 10.3.2, Garrett Road, Stone Street and Frinton Street intersection, signalisation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Leder. No items. Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, I think 10.3.1, Baloo Way footpath provisions.
Councillor Peterway.
Yes, I would like to pull 10.1.3, the right-of-way.
Sorry. 10.1.3.
0.3. Oh, it's already been pulled, sorry.
That was pulled
Okay.
by
no,
Councillor
sorry.
Black, yeah?
Yep, no, that's fine, because they were the two. Yep, no, that's fine.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Councillor Ostasowski.
Thank you. Nothing more from me.
Thank you. Nothing. Thank you. So we will start.
Sorry,
Yes, please.
I think we should probably do the one that was on the 10.4.1, the proposed change of use to short-term rental. Because there was a deputation on that last week.
Yes, we will pull all the ones anyway for the deputations. Okay. Would you like to move the 10.4.1? Okay, so I'm writing you down. Okay, so we will start. So first, I would like to councillors to move to consideration of the reports in section 10 to bring some of them forward, the ones that were subject to deputations, including the one that we had tonight. So it will be 10.1.1, 10.1.3, 10.3.2, 10.3.3, 10.4.1, and 10.3.1 that we heard tonight. Can I please have a mover and seconder to bring them forward? Councillor Sutherland is moving, Councillor Leder is seconding. Can I, all in favour, please? Thank you. So we will start with 10.1.1, which is the establishment of council-appointed bodies for the term ending 18 October 2027.
Excuse me, Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
In previous term of council, we've moved items that had a deputation first to the beginning of the meeting. Is that something we may be able to do?
We did have a deputation for this one as well.
Oh, sorry, my
And the
apologies.
deputy is actually even here.
Sorry, my apologies.
But thank you. Yes, this is why I'm not skipping, because I think I'm not sure which ones are here for which one. So we will go through each one that we had deputation in the order, but we will get to everyone soon. Thank you. Okay, so councillors, 10.1.1. So the first thing, what we will do is I will move limb 1 and 2 as per the officer's recommendation, which is what you have, which is the committees that we have, and I will ask for a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Black. So that is moved and that's on the table. Now I understand there is an amendments from Councillor Leder that we're going to discuss, and afterwards, after we will resolve this, we will start to deal with the nominations, councillors. But so I don't have anything to add. Obviously, we're just putting it on the table. Councillor Leder, would you like to move what we have in the run sheet?
Yes, please.
Okay, so councillors, you do have amendments provided before the meeting in the run sheet, and Councillor Leder will expand on them. Would you like to first highlight the changes before I will let you, before I will seek a seconder?
Yes, sure. So two, I suppose, inadvertent consequences from the shuffle up. Firstly, I wanted to separate out the Disability Advisory Group again, consistent with how it was in the previous term. However, due to the concerns that have been raised around the number of overall meetings, I have proposed that that meeting and the Inclusive Bayswater Group have 3 meetings a year. I chaired both of those in the previous term, and there was at least 1 meeting each year with a really light agenda, and so I think that that's actually going to be more respectful of community members' time as well as the city's. And the second part of that is around the Reconciliation Advisory Panel. I'm suggesting instead of an advisory group that we make it a panel, which retains that informal structure, but it does mean that we can continue to pay those community members the same rate of remuneration that they previously had. It's important, I think, that we attract really excellent people around the table for that reconciliation advisory
sorry, Councillor.
panel.
Just.
Oh, sorry, I'm not debating.
We're not getting to
Explain.
debate yet because I did not have a second. Just
There's
explain the changes.
A lot of changes there because it required some adjustments to the terms of reference. The city had proposed separating the Disability Advisory Group into the Active Transport Group and the Inclusive Bayswater Advisory Group. So both of those terms of reference had to be changed back to reflect this new structure. But basically, it maintains the same sorts of groups that we previously had in the same kind of way.
Thank you. Okay, so before you will start explaining more, if you want, I will seek a seconder for those amendments. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Loyacono is seconding the amendments. Now you can expand, Councillor.
So firstly, we had the excellent deputation last week raising concerns around not having a standalone disability group. I think that this is a group that, in fact, disability activists coined the nothing about us without us phrase. So I think it's really important that we respect their contributions and don't add additional burden by splitting it across two groups with two different meetings to attend in order to progress that work. And as I say, I have dropped that meeting in the Inclusive Bayswater Advisory Group meeting down to 3 times per year, which will just mean that those meetings are a bit more substantial, but the same amount of work, I believe, will get done. For the Reconciliation Advisory Group being changed to an advisory panel, that allows us to maintain the same level of remuneration of $200 for each meeting. The reason why I felt like that was particularly important for this particular group is because we have to develop a new reconciliation action plan in this term, and the city no longer has Sherry Bagshaw working in the role internally, so we don't have an Aboriginal person inside the organisation driving that work. So I think the advice that we get from the Reconciliation Advisory Panel will be really critical to getting it right for the city, and that will have implications for the whole length of that action plan. So they're relatively simple changes that I think will make a big difference in terms of making sure that we have the right advice.
Thank you. Councillor Loiacono, do you want to add anything as a seconder about the amendments? No. Thank you. Any other councillors anyone would like to support the amendments? Councillor Black.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I support the amendment moved by Councillor Latta. Hearing from last week from the deputations, I think the community made an excellent point of view that I think some of these changes to some of these committees, especially when it comes to representation, I believe needs to come with consultation from these committee members. I think it's a sensible approach that the councillor is taking in terms of reinstating the Disability Advisory Group and looking at the payment of community members for the Reconciliation Advisory Panel. I'm very much open to looking at how we approach our committee structures and our panels in our groups, but I believe that that also needs to come with consultation from those members of those groups in the future. So that's something I would like to see. So seeing that Disability Advisory Group reinstated is something that in particular that I do support. Thank you.
Anyone would like to speak against the amendments? In that case, I will put the amendments straight to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. It is unanimous. Thank you. So we finished councillors with Limb 1 and 2, and now we will go to the nominations themselves. We will start with the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. We already received nominations from Councillor McDonald, Councillor Loiacono, Councillor Peterway and Councillor Black. Are there any other nominations for the Audit Committee? Okay, so we have already 4 nominations for the 4 positions, so we will seal that one. Policy Committee, we received nominations from Mayor Pifaretti to be the presiding member, from Councillor McDonald, Councillor Loiacono, Councillor Peterway and Councillor Black. Are there any nominations? Other nominations? Councillor Sosowski.
Thank you. I'd like to nominate for that committee as well.
Okay. Are there any other nominations, councillors? So what I will suggest is that we will add another position, as we did in the past for those type of committees. So we will have 6 members, which include the presiding member. So we will move on to the CEO review panel. We received nominations from Mayor Filomena Pifaretti to serve as the presiding member, and nominations also for myself and from Councillor Lede. Are there any other nominations? Councillor Sosowski.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to nominate for that committee also, please.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? So I will also suggest to expand that to 4 councillors. So we will have 4 councillors on this committee. We are moving on to the Reconciliation Advisory Panel, and we've received 2 nominations from Councillor Black and Councillor Lede. Are there any other nominations? No, so this is it. So you are both on that group. What shall I call it? The panel now. The Active Transport Advisory Group, we received nominations from Councillor Black, from myself, and from Councillor Lede. Are there any other nominations? No. So I suggest again that we'll expand it to 3 councillors. And that is fine. The Inclusive Bayswater Advisory Group, we received nominations from Councillor Black and Councillor Lede. Are there any other nominations? No, so you both are on this one as well. The New Disability Advisory Group, Councillor Loyakono and Councillor Lede nominated. Are there any other nominations? No. So we will keep both of you on this one, and that resolves this item, councillors. So we will now, I'll put to the vote all the nominations that we discussed. We already have the mover and the seconder, so I'll just put it straight to the vote. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. So we are moving to item 10.1.3, proposed naming of right-of-way bordered by Foyle Road, Cat Court, Drake Street, and Kettleberry Road, Bayswater. Councillor Black, you pulled this item?
Yes, I did, Deputy Mayor. Thank you. I'm sorry, I may have not been aware of the procedure there. I didn't.
I can explain. Yes, Councillor Sutherland, you have a proximity interest. Thank you. We will wait for her to leave the room. And councillors, please note that the council has accepted tonight a petition in relation to this item earlier. So the issues raised in the petition are to be considered by the council as part of its deliberations on this item tonight. So, Councillor Black, are you moving what we have in the report, the officer's recommendation?
Yes, I will, yes.
Yes. So, okay, thank you. Councillor Black, are you aware of the amended recommendation from the officers in the addendum that we received? They revised the recommendation. Would you like us to go through it?
Yes, please.
See, or maybe you or someone else? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, through the chair. The additional information was in relation to council have made contact with the association from the questions that were raised at the agenda briefing forum last week to seek their input. And they've come back with some additional information. And in light of that, and from the Bayswater Historical Society as well, contacting family members, we're now changing the officer recommendation within there to say that, 1, council notes the submissions received during the consultation period and approves Hugh Lane for the right-of-way within the street block bordered by Foyle, Cat Court, Drake and Canterbury, and approves that the city forwarding the name of Hugh Lane in the right-of-way in Lim 2 above to Landgate for final approval.
So essentially, Councillor, the name has been changed. Are you happy to move what we now have as officer's recommendation?
Yes, yes, I am, yes.
You're happy. Yes. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lede. Councillor Black, please feel free to speak on the item.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. I'd like to move that motion and support it. Reading the background of the well-known Chinese resident Hu Chi-em, they've made a significant contribution to the area of Bayswater. I do understand that there may be an amendment on the notice paper in relation to this item. So I'm keen to hear that amendment from the councillors on that item. But I'd like to see Hu Chi-em more memorialised in some way within the city. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lede.
Thank you. I want to support this motion, and I really appreciate that there has been some other work that has gone on around this, but this has been such a long process to find the right place to honour Hugh Chem in the city. And I feel like following that process is important. We've had conversations around the table before, and other things haven't been supported, including from Councillor Ostaszewski. I remember from the August meeting, you talking about how we shouldn't elevate certain names above other names on the names list, and that we should be, like, we have this process, there is a naming register, and that is, it's important that we follow that process. The reason why I think it's important that we follow the process is because it involves a lot of additional officer time every time we add a new thing to that. The reason why we came up with the process is because of how messy it got to follow these naming procedures when everybody was just kind of jumping in with different suggestions. So the idea was that we would create this register of names and people that we knew met the threshold from Landgate before we proceeded to consultation, and that's what we've done with this. I think that it was really fortunate that we received the one piece of consultation feedback around whether using Hugh Chem's nickname was an appropriate way to honour him, and I was really pleased that the city was able to hear from his grandson, who suggested Hugh Lane instead. This, from my discussions with the city, I understand that Hugh is very will not have issues with Landgate because we already know that the person, Hugh Chem, meets the threshold for significant contribution, and that Landgate likes short names for laneways. So I thank the deputy who came in. I thought that was very brave to come and speak and put forward your point of view, and I appreciate the work that other councillors have done in supporting her with that. But I think that following the process here and recognising the many hours of work that have gone into researching Hugh Chem's background and history by the Bayswater Historical Society, connecting with his family, doing articles in the paper to find more information from people, to collect enough information to find and the right spot that was near where his market gardens were. So I think that it's the appropriate name and the right process to follow.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone would like to speak against what we have on the table? Councillor Ostaszewski.
Thank you. Back in 2021, Mrs. Koutamakis approached me about naming the laneway, and at that time I explained to Mrs. Koutamakis that there was a process that we needed to go through to get the right information so that we could have the best possible case to share with Landgate to name the laneway. In talking to Mrs. Koutamakis about the process, it all became quite overwhelming for her, and at that time there were a lot of other personal issues and health issues going on for her. So at that time, Mrs. Koutamakis felt it wasn't the right time to pursue that. In May, she received the letter in her letterbox about the city underdoing consultation about the laneway, and I believe Mrs. Koutamakis did provide a response for that consultation. It is included in our agenda here, in our confidential agenda. Yeah, Mrs. Koutamakis came along last week to share her thoughts on what the laneway should be called, because she felt the naming of that laneway was much more to be named after her husband, the town that he came from, or the district that he came from, would be more appropriate because the family actually lived on the laneway. Mrs. Koutamarkis asked for Councillor Loiacono and my help to get this onto the table tonight to see if council could have a think about naming the laneways differently. And so we went out and dropped letters to 80 houses in the streets directly abutting that laneway on Friday. We went down the laneway, down Foyle, down Cat, down Drake, and delivered our letters. And then on Saturday, Mrs. Koutamarkis went around and knocked on doors as well, letting people know that we had done the letterbox drop. And then on Sunday, the councillor and myself went and did some door knocking to gain signatures from people directly in that area to see if they would support changing the names Evros Lane or Kippy Lane. We ended up getting 26 signatures on that petition for that hour's work that we did out of 80 letters that we dropped, so that general area, 26. We've also received emails over the last couple of days as well. So we've received another 7 emails with 11 signatures on them, so some emails with 2 people. So we believe that the consultation that we've done over the last couple of days is more representative of what the people in that area are hoping that the laneway could be named. In regards to process, yes, that was one process that the city undertakes to name a laneway, but we also must understand that when we're provided with new information, we have other processes that we as council can follow to ensure that we are also considering that information. So yes, one process was taken, but we also have other processes available, and we've opted to use one of the other processes available to us to learn that naming the laneway Evros Lane or Kippy Lane is more preferred by people in that locality. In regards to the comment on elevating names above other names from back in August, I do remember making that statement, but that statement was linked to us elevating certainly racially defined group of names over all of the other names within that namings list, and that's what I was against at that time. I said that the names on that list should all be treated equally. So I just wanted to address that comment there. Can I please foreshadow my alternate?
Would you like to just quickly mention it? So all councillors. Sorry, can you please mention what you're actually foreshadowing?
Thank you.
For the record.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I would like to foreshadow that we note the submissions that have been received during the consultation period. Lim 2 is approve the following names for the right-of-way within the street block bordered by Foyle Road, Cat Court, Drake Street and Canterbury Road, Bayswater, in order of preference. Number 1 being Evros Lane, number 2 being Kippy Lane, and number 3 being Hugh Lane. Lim 3 was to approve the city forwarding those names Evros Lane for the row in Lim 2 above to Landgate for approval. In the event Evros Lane is not supported by Landgate, we request the alternative names in the order of preference be submitted to Landgate for final approval.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone would like to speak in favour of the motion on the table? Anyone else would like to speak against the motion on the table? So we are still discussing Councillor Black's tabled motion, which is the officer's recommendation. Anyone else would like to speak about that motion before we will move to the vote? Yes, Councillor. Question?
Can I just ask a question, please,
Yes.
of the city? Can I ask a question that relates to the foreshadowed motion or not?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments about the motion on the table, councillors? No. So I will go back to the mover to conclude the item.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Appreciate the comments made by Councillor Oskowski in relation to the work that himself and Councillor Loiacono have done in relation to this work. I do also appreciate the deputation that was given last week as well by the deputy. I do support seeing Hugh's name honoured in some way within the city, and noting that the councillor has foreshadowed this motion. I will leave my comments there. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will now put to the vote Councillor Black's motion, which is the officer's recommendation. All those in favour, please raise your hands. We have Councillor Leder and Councillor Black. All those against? Councillor Loyacono, Councillor Osasowski, Councillor Peterway, and myself. So the motion is lost. And now we are going to Councillor Osasowski's alternative motion. Can we please have it on the screen? And I understand there is a change to the third name. Is this correct? To Hugh Lane. Yeah, we are just fixing it. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Loyacono is seconding. Councillor Osasowski, please.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Loyacono and myself went out and did some consultation around this area, and we had a very strong support from people directly adjoining the laneway and from those surrounding streets for naming the laneway Evros Lane as first option, Kippy Lane as second option, and obviously now we can add Hugh Lane in there as well, failing those other two getting up with Landgate. Last week, the deputy gave information about why she feels the laneway should be named after her husband, Evangelos. And I just wanted to cover some of that information now so we can understand the connection that the family has with Bayswater. The family has lived in Bayswater for many, many, many decades, and their children were also born here in Bayswater, and Drake Street, adjacent to this laneway, is where their family home is. They are a traditional Greek family, and Evangelos, Mrs. Koutamakis' husband, was from a region in Greece called Evros, which is a farming region. The village that he came from was called Kippy, and interestingly, Kippy in Greek means garden. So I find the name of Evros and Kippy links really well with our Garden City motto. Evros planted olive trees along Cat Court. They are still there today. Has planted lemon trees and mulberry trees in that area. Mr. Koukoumakis was involved with many Bayswater community groups. The children went to Hillcrest Primary School, I believe, Hillcrest Primary School, John Forrest High School, and Mr. Koukoumakis was president of the Hellenic Club of Western Australia. Mr. Evangelos's community involvement came directly from the neighbours passing by the property each day. The sense of community was established by the simple means of saying hello to each other and having a chat whilst he was tending his garden. Mrs. Koutamakis would like to honour the memory of her husband by naming the laneway Evros Lane first preference, Kippy Lane second preference, and if not, preferred by Landgate, Hugh Lane. This would be a wonderful way for Council to recognise the contribution of the Koutamakis family to the city of Bayswater, and I'd like to thank Mrs. Koutamakis for coming back to us and continuing your persistent approach after the failed attempt, if I can call it that, from the first time, coming back again and giving it another good crack and allowing us to use another process that we have available to us to take on board new information to do what I believe is the right thing in calling that name Evros Lane.
Thank you. Councillor Loyacono.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. In addition to what Councillor Osasowski has just said, what has been very significant is the level of support from surrounding residents who have rallied behind Mrs. Koutamakis and her proposal. The positive feedback received through Councillor Osasowski and my recent consultation with local residents highlights not only community pride, but also a shared respect for the history and identity embedded in this particular space, as evidenced by signatures and correspondence we've received in the last few days. The request does follow due process, it's just a different type, and it reflects our ability to remain agile and responsive when a resident wants to be heard. Ultimately, this is about striking a balance between process and people, and between policy and the human stories. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone would like to speak against the motion on the table? Yes, Councillor Leder.
Can the city advise whether Evros and Kippy are likely to meet the threshold for Landgate.
Thank you. We'll go to the manager.
Through the chair, as detailed in the council report, Landgate has indicated that further justification on why these names are relevant to the city needed to be provided before it would be considered.
Would you to speak?
Yes. Yeah. Look, I will support this. I note that you've done a lot of work. You've spoken to a lot of people. I'm not sure that it meets the threshold myself, and I am concerned with the city having to go through, do additional work that will ultimately be fruitless. However, I understand that this has come about due to some unusual circumstances, and I do think that it would be a fine thing for Mr. Koutoumakis to be honoured. However, I'm also really concerned to make sure that we can honour Hugh Chiem in the city, because there's been such a significant amount of work. To my knowledge, there is only one other street name that honours a Chinese immigrant to this area, and it's a significant failing because actually the Chinese community were a huge part of building Bayswater, particularly through market gardens and other work. We still have a really big Chinese community in the city of Bayswater, and it is important that we recognise their continuing connection into our history. So I still wholly support Hugh Lane if it ends up there, but I'm happy to support trying these given the connection is extremely local to that laneway.
Thank you. Any other comments, councillors? Councillor Black.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just a point of clarity, if I may. Just as someone who's relatively new to council, just to understand, is this the final stage that this will be received by council before it's reviewed by Landgate? Does it return back to council for final approval, or is that the final stage when it returns to Landgate? Just some clarity on that, please.
Would you like to go to the manager or the CEO?
Yep. Through you, Chair, that's the final stage.
Nice. Thank you. I'd like to speak in support of the motion. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I appreciate the work that both the councillors have put in there. I think I've already stated in the previous motion that did fail that my preference is to see Hugh Chiem immortalised within this laneway. I understand that council has a different viewpoint on that, and I respect that. I think this, now that this is in front of council, I think this is an appropriate way to name this laneway. I think I would like to see a more fulsome consultation. I understand that there are that we do have processes that the council has presented as part of this tonight's council meeting, but I think, and noting the circumstances of Ms. Koutoumakis, I think I'd like to see that process start a little bit earlier in terms of that consultation. I understand these things aren't always perfect, so I do support the motion that is before us, and I think in the future I would like to see Hugh Chiem honoured in a particular way, noting that Councillor Ladder's comment as well, just in regards to the naming of minorities and the immigrants within the city of Bayswater. It is significantly lacking in my opinion, so I do support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, councillors? I would like to have a question to the city, perhaps to the manager, with regards to Hugh Lane. If it is not being used for this specific lane, will this be considered for other ones in the Bayswater area?
Through the chair, yes, it'll be returned to the naming register and it will be considered in future naming processes.
Thank you. So just a few comments from me. Thank you to the deputy for her persistence. And thank you to both of the Central Ward councillors for their work on this. I feel comfortable supporting this. I would like to acknowledge both heritage and stories with both lanes and both names, but I'm very comfortable with what is proposed here, and also hoping that we will have an opportunity to also acknowledge Hugh Chi Ems. So I will go back to you, Councillor Sosowski, to close the debate.
Thank you. We've got three options there in terms of preferencing, and the city has got information in our confidential agenda. We've also been provided with a deputation, and we've also got a petition and emails received. So if we need to put any of that body of work together to provide that through to Landgate to help support this, then I'd be happy to work with the city to make sure we send all of that information through. And as we all know, failing Landgate accepting that as part of their processes, at least we have some other options on the table for Landgate to consider. That's all I wish to say. Thank you, councillors.
Thank you, Councillor. So I will now put the motion on the table for the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you. And we will call Councillor Sutherland to come back. Councillor, just to let you know, an alternative motion was supported by Council with three options, and the first one will be Evros Lane to go to Landgate. We will move to item 10.3.2, Garrett Road, Stone Street and Frinton Street intersection signalisation. And Councillor Black, you are moving this, and you also have an amendment?
I will be moving it. I do not have an amendment for this evening.
Yes. So you're moving the officer's recommendation with another limb?
Just the officer's recommendation, thank you.
Without the new limb in the run sheet?
Without the new limb, yes, thank you.
Without. Okay,
Yes,
so it's
thank
good that I'm clarifying. Okay, so you're just moving the officer's recommendation as is?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Councillors? Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ladder. Councillor Black, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm moving the the officer's recommendation on this. I know a lot of commentary has been provided on the impact or potential impact of this signalisation on surrounding roads around this area. I do believe that this is an intersection that does need to be looked at in terms of safety and signalisation. And I do also recognise that some of the deputations this evening as well mentioned about cycling and safety around that as well. So I hope that that is considered as part of this this process as well, especially when it comes to the community consultation on Limb 4. I note as well that the officer's recommendation as well considers the left-in, left-out intersection modification at the Milne Street and Guildford Road as part of this, delivered by Main Roads WA. I know that there's a lot of community commentary in regards to left-in, left-out, or any further modifications, especially around the Guildford Road area. I know it's a very contentious spot for traffic and safety as well. I think there needs to be a more wider approach looked at that area as well. I'm not a traffic engineer, so I don't necessarily want to make suggestions here and there, and I do appreciate there are a lot of points of view from the community on what this could look like as well. So maybe those views could also be considered as part of this community consultation, and maybe the city could also in future maybe have a consideration of that wider road modifications where it may be deemed necessary or required or needed for road safety in that area as well. I think adding on a certain thing here may complicate it, so I'm happy to see this go through, and in particular making Guildford Road just a little bit more safer with the left-in, left-out intersection, and seeing that intersection signalisation on Garrett and Stone Road happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Black. Councillor Ledder.
Thank you. I think this is a really good solution to that particular issue with that intersection, which is a problem. There have been many crashes. There have also been many near misses. I have witnessed some myself. It is a dicey intersection to traverse whether you are driving, cycling or walking. So I think that this is a good solution to that. I think we still have to be mindful about any impacts on the surrounding streets. I think it's good that it's coming in the same agenda as the low-cost urban road safety improvements to that area. And I note that there is a new proposed treatment on Stone Street right near that intersection, which I think will be very helpful in dealing with that. Because this still requires funding and the LCURS is a low cost and pretty quick program, I feel quite confident that the LCURS treatments will be in place long before we get these signals. So I think that the potential knock-on effects will be hopefully dealt with, and we'll at least understand if there's anything further needed in that area by the time this comes back to council. So I'm very comfortable proceeding to the next stage with this.
Thank you. Anyone would like to speak against the motion? Anyone would like to speak in favor of the motion? I just want to ask one question, perhaps to the director, with regards to the concerns that we received from in one of the deputations, and that they were concerned that adding the signals will increase the issues along Trailen Road. Is this the case? How is this going to be mitigated? The LCURS proposed road treatments will deal with that? Can you please just respond? Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of the northbound traffic on Garrett Road, when they approach the signalised intersection, there won't be a left turn slip lane. So they will need to stop. If there's a red light, they'll need to stop. Even if they want to turn left, they'll need to stop at the red light. So there's no difference in terms of the signalisation compared to what's there now. There won't be any difference in terms of that northbound traffic wanting to rat run through Stone Street. Perhaps coming the other way from Guildford Road, heading down towards or through Trailen towards Stone Street, it will be easier to turn right onto Garrett Road than what it is now when the signals go in. But with the actual treatments that are proposed under the LCURS program, that will slow the traffic down the area, and we're expecting that to discourage people from rat running through that area.
Thank you. Any other comments, councillors? In that case, I will put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you.
Excuse me, Deputy
move.
Mayor.
Yes.
I've just realised that I have a financial interest in 10.2.7. I missed it in my notes. I have a financial interest in 81361 line item, the 45 9th Avenue Maylands car park, due to having a business in the area that will benefit from the car park. So if we can deal with that separately so that I can leave the room.
Okay, so 10.2.7.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll pull it separately. Okay, councillors. So we will move to item 10.3.3, which was also subject to deputations, Local Road Safety Program, Maylands Peninsula Precinct, and I pulled that one, and I will move the officer's recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Sutherland. Thank you. I'll be quick. This addresses so many concerns by so many residents. We had a petition at the last council meeting, and the head petitioner is here tonight. I met with him, and I also met with a group of residents living on East Street, also concerned about traffic issues there. I also met with various parents with kids at the Maylands Peninsula Primary School, and I know that the PNC was also raising concerns around traffic safety around the school. So this is fantastic news that Main Roads agreed to bring forward the funding to implement the road treatments for this precinct. Really high priority. This is really, really great. I would like to thank personally to the head petitioner for his efforts to also make this happen. This will hopefully make a difference. Just one comment, and I did mention it to the officers, but I also wanted to put it on the record with regards to raised plateaus, which are proposed almost everywhere. We do need to increase the height of those plateaus. From feedback that I received from residents in other parts of the city that we already had those treatments installed, they are indicating that they do not slow the traffic much. So, and I understand that the city does not raise those plateaus to the maximum standard possible. So I urge the city to consider raising them. So I will not have residents on one side wanting road treatments and saying they are ineffective. And I will also have residents on the other side who do not want them and they're saying they are ineffective. Why did you spend the money? So we do want it to be effective. We have lots of pedestrians, lots of cyclists in very urbanized catchment of the city. We talked about Trail and Road. If we are doing this signalization, we do want to make sure that it does slow the traffic and will not introduce other issues. Same for East Street and same for all other locations, Caledon Avenue, with regards to the petition and others. So please, city officers, please consider that when you engineer those treatments. Councillor Sutherland, would you like to make any comments?
No, look, I also want to thank the people down there and also the deputation last week. It really was thorough and you could tell that people down there really want this. This program obviously will be vital in creating safer and more livable streets by addressing traffic concerns in this area. And also where it is close to the city. There are a lot of cyclists and I just think it's going to hopefully target more community-specific traffic issues and have a few high-impact treatments. So I think, yep, thank you. I think it's good.
Thank you. Anyone would like to speak against the motion? Anyone would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Blake.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. I support this motion as it stands. I know that a lot of people, especially in this area, have raised road safety as a significant concern. This isn't a unique issue in relation to the Maylands Peninsula, but I understand from the Deputy Mayor that it has been for a while, especially down there. I know that there's another item on the agenda that's dealing with other areas, so I really support seeing LCURS being rolled out across our suburbs. I do note as well that some people have said that it is not as effective, especially when those platforms aren't as high. So I agree. I'd like to see that looked at into the city in terms of how that rolls out as well. I think it's a step towards the right direction and might help resolve some of those issues that we see at Trail and Road, as we mentioned in the previous agenda item. And if it does not, then obviously looking at further options there, either as part of LCURS or as another solution there as well. But I support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, councillors? Councillor Lede.
Thank you. I'm really happy to see this come to council sooner than I thought it might. Pleased that residents will have treatments in much sooner than perhaps they expected. I do want to note that the LCURS program is for low-cost treatments, and Main Roads only gives a narrow range of options for those treatments. So it aims to serve a particular purpose, lowering speeds in particular. And I think that's an important precursor to us dropping the speed limit in that area that I know many people want to see, particularly around the school. But this program will help create the right conditions for drivers to slow down so that we can justify to Main Roads dropping the official speed limit. I think it will have an important impact on local roads. And I also want to note that it's not the end of thinking about safer, more livable streets in these areas. There are many other things that the city can do and I hope will do to further make these streets safer for active transport and particularly kids walking to school and riding to school. So I look forward to these coming into place and thinking about, once they are, thinking about what other measures might be needed.
Thank you. Any other comments, councillors? I don't have any other comments to add, so I will put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? It is unanimous. Thank you. We don't have anyone else? Yes, the director. Thank you. So we will move to item 10.4.1, right? Yes, 10.4.1, proposed change of use to short-term rental accommodation, Lot 6, 96 Caledonian Avenue, Maylands. And we have Councillor Sutherland. You're moving the officer's recommendation?
I'm moving the officer's recommendation.
Yes, Councillor Lella, you have proximity. Proximity interest.
Okay. Yep.
Moving the officer's recommendation?
Yes, I
Thank
am.
you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Black is seconding. Councillor Sutherland, please.
Okay, I won't take too long. We had a good deputation on this last week, and I thank the deputation. It was, to me, common sense. It's obvious that the property is important to the family. They live in rural areas, and even if they weren't allowed to use this, some of the property would be standing vacant for some time. So I think this is a fair enough request. There's been no complaints on this, and it seems to be a very settled area. People know each other in the complex, so I can't see the problem there. And this type of change will only see the property, if we don't agree to this, we'll only see the property vacant for certain periods of the year, which is not really good for the local area as well. I do take on board what the people said about the negatives of the area, but a lot of that is, I think, played out by what they see in the media and the fear. I've spoken to the officers and I haven't seen or heard of anything concrete that negative that occurs there, so I can't see why we shouldn't support this. And we do need a variety of accommodation in the metropolitan area, so especially in areas like Maylands. And it's really important, I mean, I've lived a long time in the country areas, it's really important that there is somewhere cheap for people to come down when they need to, whether they have to go to hospitals or family in the hospitals or schools, that sort of thing. So I do think we should take this on board when we're making our decision, but I wholeheartedly agree with this.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Black, any comments?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I won't rail on too long there. I think Councillor Sutherland's hit the nail on the head there. Just want to note a few things from the officer's recommendation. It is only for a 12-month time limit, so if we do see that there are significant complaints stemming from this unhosted accommodation as well, then we can, after 12 months, I understand that it may be coming back to council depending on the provisions of our town planning scheme, whether or not it's discretionary or otherwise, and we could see that potentially not continued. Good to see that there is only a maximum of three guests permitted at the property. I believe it's a 2-bedroom property, so I think that is appropriate for that area. And noting as well that while I do want to see increased housing within our city, I know that not every short stay accommodation is going to be appropriate for returning to the long-term rental market as well. And this one in particular, it's demonstrated that it is being retained by the family, being used when it's not as a place to settle when they are within the city, visiting from the country. And it does not, if this is not approved, then it won't necessarily return to that long-term rental market. It would be sitting vacant there. I think the conditions that they are long, but I think they are appropriate for the management of this property. And I think that it's something that the city can manage and manage well, especially in regards to the new provisions coming through from the 1st of January with the Short-Term Rental Accommodation Act. So I believe that this is a fine addition to the area there in terms of its use. And look, if it doesn't work out and within 12 months, then it comes back. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone would like to speak against the motion? Anyone would like to speak for the motion? In that case, I will go straight to the vote. All those in favour? It is unanimous. Thank you. We'll call Councillor Leder back. Thank you. So, Councillor, the officer's recommendation was carried by Council. What I did forget to mention to everyone is that I do want to acknowledge former, just very recently, former Councillor Palmer is here, and obviously we had previously former Councillor Johnson who asked the question. I should have done it. We are moving, councillors, to item 10.3.1, which we had a deputation tonight with regard to the Bellew Way footpath provision. Does anyone would like to... Sutherland, sorry, Michelle Sutherland, did you pull it? Oh, sorry. So Councillor Sutherland is moving it. Do I have a second? Are you moving? I'm assuming that you are supporting the officer's recommendation. Councillor Peterway is seconding. Councillor Sutherland, please.
Okay, thank you. Look, I am going to support this. Obviously, it's an important issue to the local residents. A lot of them are in the audience tonight, and we have a petition for about 20 residents, which is nearly the whole street. I know that street quite well because it's near the Naranda shops, and I've got friends in Stewart Street. It's the money, in my opinion, it's about $78,000. Would be better spent on footpaths in busier streets, and I do note that the officers have put some examples in the report. I have read all the concerns of the residents, and I agree with that. Mainly, for me personally, it's the lack of demonstration needed. People don't want it. It's a quiet street. It's not necessary. You can connect from Stewart Street to go across to the shops, and Stewart down to the parks if you need to. You don't need to go through this street. And I just think, to me, in my opinion, number one, common sense. We can save the money and put it somewhere else. And the residents of that street don't want it. It's obvious they don't want it. And I'd like to thank the deputation tonight. She made it pretty clear as well. So I'm going to support the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Peterway, would you like to add anything?
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Yes, obviously I agree with Councillor Michelle Sutherland there. It's not necessary. I haven't been a long part of this process, but obviously coming onto council recently and bringing this up in the briefing agenda last week and the deputation done this evening, it's quite evident that the residents around Bellew Way are not in favour of the footpath construction there. Some of them have lovely verges and so forth, and I do happen to agree that it's somewhat of especially the width of the footpath proposed is probably, was overkill. But it's not necessary at the end of the day. There is other avenues to get to McGilvray Road from Stewart Way, if it's a Stewart Way. And and the one last thing I'd like to see is an abundance of cars on the street when clearly the residents in Bellew Way use the road to cycle and walk and run perhaps or whatnot, but to have cars obstructing views and potential risks that could cause with children in the street riding their bikes is one of the reasons I am voting for the motion for it to proceed.
Thank you. Anyone would like to speak against the motion? Anyone would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Sosowski.
Thank you. I just want to briefly say Central Ward would welcome the construction of the footpath along Mickleham Road here, and the construction links directly into the PSP along Tonkin Highway, and I feel as though we need to be investing in this type of infrastructure to help connect people to these major transport links. So Central Ward will be very happy, I'm hoping, that we can make another investment into that part of the city.
Thank you. Councillor Black.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I think the deputation given by the residents this evening, I'm supportive of this motion here. I generally support footpaths being inserted into our suburbs. And I see it from a perspective of I have a young child, safer ways to get around our neighbourhoods, especially with a pram, and then in keeping with that same theme with older residents, those with mobility aids and the like. I think we do need to consider that as part of our footpath arrangements, but I think it's quite clear from the deputation given this evening, from the response from the residents, and just looking at the at this situation and this in this location, it's probably not the best place to put this footpath. I'm not opposed to putting one later on down the track if there's something that the residents do want to see, but I think given the outpouring of non-support for the footpath from residents in particular, who will 90% of the time be the ones using it, it's not a major thoroughfare in any way, from my perspective. I do support the officer's recommendation and thank the deputation and the residents for coming out this evening and sharing their thoughts.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Lede.
It just struck me while we were listening to the deputy earlier that sometimes roads are already safe, active streets, and we don't need to over-engineer it by spending money to create what's already there. I think there are lots of neighbourhoods that would do a lot to get a street that is naturally safe for people to be on the road, and I think that it's unnecessary to spend money when that's already the case. So I'm pleased to see this allocated to a much needed area.
Thank you. Any other comments, councillors? No, so I will put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? It is unanimous. Thank you. So, councillors, this concludes the items that were subject to deputations. We will now move to consideration of the reports in section 10 that have been withdrawn by councillors. Thank you, everyone in the public gallery. We will start with, we'll go back to item 10.1.2, appointments to external committees for the current term. And I move that one, and I would like to ask for a seconder. Councillor Black, thank you. What we will do now, we will go one by one and we will fill up the names. We will start with the DAP, the Development Assessment Panel. We received one nomination so far from Councillor Sutherland. So are those changes, just seeking advice from, are those corrections?
The city officers are seeking those corrections.
Corrections, okay, so we have those very technical ones, I see, right? Very technical ones, okay, so we have some corrections. Councillor Sutherland is nominating for the DEP. Do I have other nominations for the DEP? Councillor Loiacono, I'll practice. Anyone else? No. So we have two nominations. We already have two names now, Councillor Sutherland and Loiacono. And for deputy members, do we have names? Councillor Black, one name. Any other nominations, councillors?
Question?
Yes.
Is the city able to tell me when are those meetings held? Time of day? Sorry.
I'll go to the director.
Thank you for helping.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks for the question. So the meetings are entirely dependent on the applications that are received, and the meeting time is set by the presiding member with the DAP Secretariat. So they are generally during business hours, and they're generally held during business hours, Monday to Friday.
So, I had something. Do you have any other questions about this aspect?
No, that's all for now. Thank you.
Okay. Any other nominations as a deputy member? Yes.
Sorry. May I put my name down?
Yes,
for
please.
The DAP?
So we have Councillor Sosowski as another deputy. Any other nominations? No. Thank you. So we have two main members and two deputies. Thank you. EMRC. We have nominations from Mayor Philomena P. Ferretti, and I should add that under the establishment agreement, the mayor can be automatically selected as a mayor, as a member on the MRC, so that is done. Do I have other nominations for the MRC as a member? Councillor Sosowski?
I'd like to nominate for the EMRC,
Yeah,
please.
so we have that name. Do I have other nominations? No. So Councillor Sosowski, you are the second member. We have, as deputy, we have nomination from Councillor Sutherland. Are there any other nominations? No. So Councillor Sutherland, you are the deputy. We are moving to the Metropolitan Regional Road Group, and we have nomination as the member from Councillor Black. Are there any other nominations? Okay, so no. So Councillor Black is kept, and any nominations as deputy member? Councillor Sosowski.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other nominations? Sorry, for the deputy. Just checking. No. Thank you. So we fill up that as well. And we're moving to Welga. Two positions, and we have nominations from Councillor Sutherland and from myself. Are there any other nominations for members? No. So it's you and me, Councillor Sutherland. Deputies, we have a nomination from the mayor. Do we have another nomination? Deputy on Welga. Ideally we will have another one, and the CEO is the third one. So we just need another one. Are we required to have another one? Another deputy? Are we required to fill up the positions?
Through you, Chair, the preference is to have 2 deputies for Welga.
Okay. So that's advice from the CEO. Anyone would like to know?
Just question, Deputy Mayor. Is Councillor McDonald actually nominated for any sort of councils at this stage, as we know he's away?
He did, but not for Welga, for others.
Okay.
I think for the next one that we'll talk the SCS, but not for that one. So we won't nominate him if he's not here. Anyone else would like to nominate? I'll give you a few seconds.
I will be the deputy. I will be another deputy.
Councillor Leder has nominated herself. Thank you. Anyone else? No. So we resolved that one. Thank you. SCS, we have nominations from 3 councillors, Councillor McDonald, Councillor Loyacono, and Councillor Leder. So I would, because we have only 2 positions, I will check if anyone would, from the 3, would like to pull their name.
I would be happy to not do SES if I could do the Local Emergency Management Committee, the next one.
Okay. I guess we need to resolve that first, and then we will go to that other one. So would you like to? We can do the vote, the ballot. This is the process. So you would like to keep the name for now?
Again, I'm happy to
remove
myself from SES if
so
I can have
the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay. So any preference, Councillor?
I would like to be on the Local Emergency Management Committee as my first preference.
Your first. Would you be happy to be on the SCS?
No, I would prefer to be on
the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honest, I'm flexible.
So it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter, no.
Okay. So thank you, councillors. So what we will do is for the SCS, we will have Councillor McDonald and Councillor Loyacono. And that is, so Councillor Leder, you're removing yourself from the SCS? On the assumption that Councillor Loyacono is removing herself from the other one? Yeah? Okay. So I'm just resolving SCS. Any other nominations? No. Oh, we do need the same one.
Yeah, one of the members of the
Oh, yes, I did remember that suddenly. We do need, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't remember if it's an obligation, but there is a practice that there is one councillor who is on both of them. I forgot about that. Okay, so this is the advice from governance. So we do need one of the councillors to be. Look, I'm I actually, because I spoke with Councillor McDonald on this, I think he would not mind at all. So I will take the risk. I might get into trouble, but I will suggest to remove his name. From what I spoke to him, he was keen on other ones that we already resolved. This one he added at the last. So I might get into trouble, but I'm taking the risk. You live once. So I will suggest I'll remove his name. He did propose that I will nominate. I think he did mention that by email, so I'll take also the ability to remove his name. So because we need, so we will have Councillor Lede and Councillor Loyakono on the SES, and on the other one we have three options for two positions. We have Loyakono, we have Lede, and we have Peterway, and we need obviously one of the ladies to be there. So I will go to check if any of the three would like to withdraw their names. If not, we will just go to the ballot. And I assume that one of the female councillors will stay. Yes?
I'm happy to...
To withdraw?
Yeah, Anthony, yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Loyakono. So we are removing your name, and we will have Councillor Peterway and Councillor Lede. And that is okay. I'm looking around. Yeah? And that was the last one. All good, councillors? Yeah? So I will put those nominations to the vote. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Good? Okay, thank you. So we are moving to... We are moving to item 10.2.7. We have financial interest for Councillor Lede. Carry forward 2024-2025, and we also need absolute majority. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Black is moving. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Sosowski, would you like to add anything? No. No. So any comments, councillors? I will put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? It's unanimous. Thank you. We'll call Councillor Lede back. Thank you. So that was carried, Councillor. Have we missed anything? No, that's it. So, councillors, we will move to adopt the remaining items in section 10 on block. Can I please have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Sutherland is moving. Councillor Osasowski is seconding. I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? It is unanimous. Thank you. So we are moving to part 11 of the meeting, the notices of motion. And we are starting with item 11.1, which is my motion naming of the Street and Crawford Road laneway. So I will move what you have in the agenda, and I do need to give you some information. Councillors, please note that this notice of motion seeks to change a previous decision of council. The process for changing or revoking a previous decision of council is set out in Regulation 10 of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996. The requirements are: 1, the motion must be supported by a third of the council, which is 3 elected members now. 2, any decision to revoke or change the previous council decision must be made by absolute majority, which is 5 elected members now. This notice of motion has been supported by myself and with 2 seconders, Councillor Lede and Councillor Black. Is that correct? So, so those are the seconders. So I will speak on the motion, and I will be brief by saying that I received quite a lot of requests from community members who thought that adding the first name Faye to Camperlane will ring much better, and I think it also adds another significance by highlighting that we have named the street after a female person in our community with impressive background. So that is another advantage. So I proposed to add the word Fay, Camper, hoping that Landgate will approve it and we can resolve this issue with the landway that we have been dealing, councillors, for the new ones for more than 2 years, I think, by now, because we had a new process around naming landways, so we had to stop it. So I'm hoping that that will resolve this issue. Councillor Leda, we'll start with you. Any comments?
Just to say that I think I wouldn't ordinarily support going back and changing a street name. In this case, we are retaining it and adding to it in a way that actually I wish we could, that Laneway would let us do for all of our streets, so that people actually understand the connection between the name of the lane and a person. I think it's not always clear to people where the names of our streets come from. In this case, residents thought that there was a potential for the name to be used in an offensive way. I don't share that view, but I do think that Fay Cumper Lane is a superior name, so I'm happy to support it.
Councillor Black, any comments?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I will be brief. One thing I have learnt through this process is that there are quite strenuous guidelines for Landgate naming of streets, names and the like across our suburbs. I think the change that's been proposed here by the Deputy Mayor is appropriate, and I support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone would like to speak against the motion? Anyone would like to speak for the motion? I will put it straight to the vote. All those in favour? It is unanimous. Thank you. We're moving to the next notice of motion, item 11.2, notice of motion from Councillor Leder, representation of council positions on external bodies. Councillor.
I would like to move a procedural motion to defer this item to the next council meeting, given that it relates to something the Mayor was involved in and she is not here to provide additional context and explanation. I think it'd be most respectful that we have the debate around this while she is present.
Okay, so you're moving it. I need a seconder. Councillor Black is seconding. Would you like to add anything?
No, I think
no. So there is no debate on procedural motions like this one, so we will put it, yeah, even the seconder is not speaking, right? Can I just confirm? No. So I'll put it.
Sorry,
yes.
question. So we're just debating, we're just voting to hold
Defer
this
it
off
to the next council meeting. Yeah, that's the defer. So we're not debating the motion at all, just deferring to the next meeting, and when the Mayor will be back, hopefully. So I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. Item 12, questions for members without notice. Any questions, councillors? Councillor Sutherland.
Look, I was wondering through the chair to any officers, any updates on the Morley markets that you've heard?
Thank
the
you.
Morley market site?
I will go to the CEO.
Through the chair, no further information from the meeting that we held with them in the Embleton room a couple of weeks ago. I've no further information in relation to it.
Any other questions? Councillor Leder.
I wanted to ask the city about the out of school hours care. Earlier in the year when we, the city was, I think the resolution was that the city would seek further information from the state government about their plans at the Maylands Peninsula Primary School before bringing an item back to council. So I wanted to see what the status of that item was, if it is ready to come back to council.
Through the chair, I don't have any further information at this stage. I'm looking at the manager just to see whether she does as well, and I'm not getting any indication. So I'll take that on notice and I will ascertain. The information that I had from the last time, Councillor Ladder, was in relation to a commencement around term 1 of next year, but I will try and confirm that with you. And then the item to come back in relation to that.
Is that sufficient information for the item to come back, to know that the state now has a plan? And
I think through the chair, it's ascertaining what the state's plan is in terms of the size and the scale and operations. And once we can clarify that, then we can put that within the report to come back to council.
Councillor Black.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I was just seeking an update from the city on the progress of the 40-kilometre speed zone area in the Bayswater residential area. I believe that was passed by council a few months ago, and just seeing if there is any progress made on updating of speed signs and the community consultation that was also flagged as part of that motion. I understand it was not something that was being put before the community before the motion, but it was the consultation was looking at after the passage of that motion. So just an update on those two, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go to the manager.
Through the chair, Deputy Mayor, in terms of the 40Ks, we have written to Main Roads in regards to the support based on the council's resolution on that. They are in the process of providing the actual details, because some of the signs and pavement marking will have to be adjusted to accordingly. They've also come back to us suggesting a number of additional roads they want to include as the 40Ks as well. So we are defining the extent of what they actually want. So we may need to take back to council to get council endorsement on those additional roads as well.
And Deputy Mayor, do we have an indicative time frame for that to take place, an estimated time frame for that to return to council?
Yep.
Good question. At the moment, we're expecting Main Roads to come back to us with a defined extent of those roads, probably within a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks' time. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? No. Thank you. We will move to item 13. There is no business of an urgent nature. So I will close the meeting at 8:46. Thank you, everyone.